So till now, whatever we consider as a bar problem. So what is that bar problem? So if whenever you have an object like this, the force is always acting in an axial way, right, along the axis. Okay. Now it is different. This is beam. So when I say beam, your force is acting perpendicular. Whenever I consider a beam, so it is always a transverse force, and you have a moment related to that. Okay. Right. The strength of the beam depends on the cross section. Its cross section, how the cross section is. Okay. So let me consider this element. Your beam element is like this. So you have two displacement. One is V. We call it as a displacement, and the other one is theta. Okay. So as I told you, this nodal point, one is related to shear force. Based on the shear force, you will get this V. V is your displacement. And the other one, we have a moment, right? So we got as a moment. Based on the moment, what you will get is theta, right? So you have deflection. So we call deflection as V and slope as theta. So which means in one node, you have 2 degrees of freedom, right? In one node, we are having 2 degrees of freedom. So deflection and slope, right? So if this beam is horizontal, make sure if the beam is horizontal. So what you think about it when it is inclined, right? What happens? You will be resolving this into 2, and that 2 will have 2. So it's totally, so one element will have 4 cross 4 matrix. Sorry, it's not 4 cross 4. So one node will have 4 cross 4. So one element will have 8 cross 8 matrix. Very complicated. We call that element as frame element. So we are not discuss about it. Let us leave this. For a beam, either it's horizontal or vertical, you will have 4 cross 4 matrix. Okay, because 1 degrees of, so you have 2 degrees of freedom per node. Okay, so totally we have 2 nodes. So maximum 4 cross 4 matrix. So this is what we're going to get, right? Same procedure what you followed for bar, right? So, but we have lots of complications, right? And assembling and other things. So I'll go a little bit faster. Okay, let me proceed. So we'll go for identifying what is your interpolation. So you assume a trail function. You assume a trail function. So u of x which is equal to a1 plus a2x plus a3x square plus a4x x cube. So can you tell me why you are considering up to x cube? Why can't we stop at x square? Because it is because of your differential equation. You have d square y by dx square, right? So since your order of differential equation is higher, so we are considering something in terms of x cube. Okay. So now we will write what is my slope function. So my slope is just dv by dx. So differentiating this, you're getting your theta x. I will write this as an element equation. So v of x is 1x x square x cube, a1, a2, a3, a4. Theta x is 0, 1, 2x, 3x square, a1, a2, a3, a4. Because these are the two different displacements you are having for that particular element. Now let me apply my boundary condition. When x is 0, your v will be equal to v1 and your slope is equal to theta 1. If x is L, your v is v2 and slope is, so your theta is theta 2, right? So we consider this. Based on that, we will achieve this. Okay, we already got what is our displacements here. Just substitute what is the value accordingly, and you will get this particular formula. So our aim is to identify what is this a1, a2, a3, a4, right? So let me identify that. So let me, in this, if I consider the first two equations, you can able to see this. If I multiply v1, a1, that's it. So other things are 0. So we have theta 1, a2. So these two terms we have identified. The other terms we will expand it. Okay, and we'll identify what is the values of this A1 and A2. So we use our equation, normal equation. So to identify this A3 and A4. So just I am rewriting this equation, then consider as the equation, subtracting it. All these terms, after we do all these things, you will get one term, right? We get what is our A3 and what is our A4. So these are the two terms we are getting. So you have got what is our A4 and what is our A3, right? After substituting all this, just solving these two equations, that's it. Everything will be a variable. So now you know that whenever I consider any term, I'll be writing in terms of interpolation function. So n1 u1 plus n2 u2, right? So that is for bar element. So here for a barium element, it is n1 v1 plus n2 theta 1. So for nodal point 1, these two are nodal point 1. n3 v2 and n4 theta 2. This is for nodal point 2. Okay. So this is my values. So I am rewriting this, right? You know that this your v of x is a1 plus a2x plus a3x square plus a4x cube. Substituting values of a1, a2, a3, a4, you get an equation. You get an overall equation, right? So solving that equation, right, after substituting it everything in terms of this, you will get this overall. So this is my equation. So this one I am going to write it in terms of v1 theta 1, v2 theta 2. So I am considering whatever which is v1. Write it as a one term, right? Consider all my theta 1, write it as the other term. Consider all v2, write it as one term, and theta 2 as the other term. So this is nothing but n1, n2, n3, and n4. So I have plotted a curve here below indicating what will happen if you substitute the values of x from 0 to some L. Right? If you substitute 0, what happens? You will get 1. When you substitute L, you will get 0. Right? That is what your interpolation function is. Right? So similarly for n1, n2, n3, n4. In all these things, what is your interpolation graph with respect to that? Okay, but no need to consider. But you have to remember this as a formula. Right? For beam, this formula is important. Now we will go for your element stiffness matrix. So identifying what is the element stiffness matrix. For this, you know the formula. It is integral B transpose dB into dV. So here, your dV, you have to write it in terms of I because we are dealing with your beam, right? So there is nothing but I into dx something. So you are changing like this, integral 0 to L. So your B and other terms you have, just find out what is your B matrix, what is your N matrix, then identify what is your B and D overall. If I substitute it, right, I am not going to deal with this. Okay, we will get one matrix. So have a note of this matrix. So this is your stiffness matrix for your beam. So you find a way to remember this. Okay, so one way how I remember this, I used to write it like this: EI by L cube. I'll put this, I will remember. So 12, 6L, 6L, 4L square. I write all these things: 12, 6L, 6L, 4L square, 12, 6L, 6L, 4L square, 12, 6L, 6L, 4L square. See, I have not completed, right? So what I will do is I will consider the third row negative, except the diagonals. So this is my diagonal. So this is my diagonal, this is my diagonal. Except the diagonal. Diagonal should not be negative, right? This is the property of a stiffness matrix, right? Except diagonal, you put third row and third column negative, right? And make sure this 4, you change it to 2. So this is how I remembered, right? There is no other way, right, to remember these types of formulas, right? Okay, so for any beam problem, you should remember two things. One is your interpolation functions n1, n2, n3, n4, and your stiffness matrix K. Right? Then only you can able to solve any problem in beam.